Okay, welcome back to the Mountains Podcast. I am Matt Schroeder here with Justin Wiley.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We finally got a real mic system. We're using AirPods.
It's interesting, actually. I think it's better because it balances our sound out more.
Yeah, like our voices are finally the same volume. And yeah, that's the first upgrade that we've made to the show. Before that, I have not spent any money. I actually didn't buy these for the show, actually.
You just already had them.
Yeah,
That's good.
I bought them for Christmas about a year and a half ago, and they didn't arrive for 3 months.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually really bad.
Yeah, the rollout.
Were they not at the store?
They kept getting shipments in, but they would like sell out as soon as they returned. So like I went to Best Buy and they said, yeah, you basically have to be here when we get the shipment.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's really quick. So I remember last episode we were sitting in chairs because I told you guys I had broken my leg, and now I have upgraded to a out of my cast and I'm into a boot. Matt's over here choking.
Sorry.
And I can take the boot off and just kind of lay down. It's still a little bit swollen, but I can drive, and it's feeling a lot better. Overall, pretty good.
He has stitches on the outside part of his leg.
Yeah, they look pretty gnarly. It's interesting.
And it's purple.
It's purple, yeah. Different colors. Oh man. Oh shoot, it is purple. I didn't even see that. No. But so that should heal pretty soon. I go back to the doctor in 3 weeks. And after there's 3 weeks, I actually have to leave school early to go. It's like the second day of school. And then they said I should be able to walk after that.
Wow.
So I'm actually coming back pretty quick. I was very surprised at how quick the recovery was.
Yeah, I was worried that you would have to go to school with crutches on.
The first 2 days I'll be on my little mini scooter. So.
Oh, okay. So it won't be a full recovery.
It won't be, yeah, not.
But pretty close.
Yeah, when I'll be walking with the boot on. And I don't know how it's going to feel. I'm a little bit scared.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I just don't want people to step on it because like hallways are so crowded and I don't know, scary.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine. I mean, you're not the first one that's had to, like we have an elevator and you get to take people on rides.
I get my little key, my elevator key now.
Yeah, that's like...
Be a banger.
Let's go choking. Yeah, I feel like once someone gets the elevator key, they have people like fighting over them.
Yeah, especially leaving classes because I always have to bring somebody with me.
Let's talk about FBLA.
FBLA.
Okay, so when you were in FBLA, you did competitions, and I don't know what those entailed.
Okay, well, so what are you good at business-wise? What interests you?
Podcasting.
Podcasting. Okay.
Still
Well,
figuring it out, but I know I like it.
so there is actually probably a competition in FBLA about podcasting. I'm not 100% sure, but most things there is
I'd
or
kill
something
it.
similar.
I would kill it.
And you could do like maybe a business plan one and have it about podcasts.
Okay.
But basically, there is competitions for everything, like I said. And I particularly, I was in UIL accounting, and the accounting class, and so my teacher said, do the accounting one. And I was like, okay, so I took an accounting contest. And so I was very unprepared. I mean, I'd done a little bit of stuff in like UIL and in accounting class, but I'd never really studied or anything for this thing. And I was like, I remember the night before, I was thinking, I could cram and like study a good bit right now because I had time.
Yeah.
And I was like, or I could just, have a good night and then go to sleep and wake up and be refreshed tomorrow morning. And I was like, I'll do that because I hadn't studied it all. And so I was very, very unprepared. But I ended up, there was like 30, 40 of us in a room all taking this test. It was 100 multiple choice questions. And I somehow got second place.
Wow.
So and that got me to go to state. And so that was pretty cool. But I was also out of town for state. So I had to take my test like prior, like beforehand and stuff for state. I didn't place in state, but...
Do you think you were just naturally better than your competition?
Well, I am kind of good at taking educated guesses.
Okay.
So
you use strategies.
Yeah, I'm a better test taker than a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think. And I don't know why, but...
Some people just freak out for no reason when they take tests.
And I try to use my intuition as much as I can during a test because, I might not know it, but my higher self might know it, you know what I mean? I'm like, here, you can take the test. And so, but... I
have been to many, not many, but I've attended some SAT classes where they teach you some strategies. I have never once heard that one. Really?
It works really well.
Now, students, for this next one, you're going to want to find communication with your higher self.
Use your intuition.
Let them answer the question.
Usually what I'll do is I'll come down to like a few questions that I just totally don't know. And I'm like, well, according to my research, it's going to be this one. And I just kind of like shut my mind off and let my subconscious do the work. You know what I mean?
If any of your accounting competitors hear this, they're going to be so mad at you.
Yeah, because some of them seemed really smart, too. Like, really smart. So, but
You either got it or you don't.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm going to take it more seriously this year and probably try and do better. Because there's some accounting practices I'll take online that Miss Filer put out. Ah!
God bless you.
Thank you very much. That probably was ear shock for whoever's going to be watching this. But I think I'm going to prepare more this next year. Because
I wonder what the guy who got first place has as his strategy. Maybe he makes his higher self study for him.
Oh.
So his higher self is prepared to give him the answers.
Why didn't I think about that? I should have done that.
Should have.
But we actually... Supposedly this test was really hard. I thought it was hard just because I didn't study. But because I got second place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I got on the test?
What?
A 52.
That's not good.
No. And the guy who got first place got like a 56.
So, missed by a narrow margin.
Yeah. So, apparently everybody else just is bad. It was either like, because I don't know, if I would have gotten like a higher grade, like an 80 or something, I'd have been like, oh yeah, that was because I did good.
Mm-hmm.
But since I got a 52, I think that's more of everybody else just did so bad.
So are these competitions really just tests that you take?
No.
How else do you compete? Like, what's the most interesting example of it that you've seen?
Well, I did my sophomore year. I did public speaking.
Okay.
And that was pretty cool. Except, like this year, I didn't prepare. And so, the night before, this was... Well, so you're supposed to, like, prepare a speech a good amount of time ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, study it to where you can just say it freely. You don't have to read anything.
Yeah.
And the night before, I'm like, I need to prepare a speech. because I hadn't written one yet. So I went and I wrote this long speech, and I thought it was a really good speech. It's just I forgot whenever I was presenting it, since I didn't give myself enough time to prepare.
Okay.
So I didn't do as well in that competition. I didn't get second or anything. I didn't move on to state, but
they just judged your public speaking abilities?
yeah, like the quality of how you give out your presentation, you know, are you confident and such, as well as how good the speech you wrote was.
Okay, so content and delivery.
Yes. And it was kind of cool. I would definitely want to do that again and actually prepare, because I was actually really excited at the beginning. It's just I wasn't intentional about it so I didn't get it done. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I just kind of forgot about it until it was too late.
That's unfortunate.
Which happens, I mean.
But now you know for next time, you'll be more prepared.
Are you going to do a competition this year?
I don't know if I'm going to be an FBLA this year because I signed up to be an officer. Well, not an officer, but like a board member for Interact.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, I'm excited about it. I actually gave a speech to the remaining members in the year. And because, you know, they start off with like so many and then people drop out because they don't like it or whatever. And so at the end of the year, I gave this speech saying, I want to be the senior board member or one of the board members for the senior class. And there were like enough people running that they had to fill in a spot for the director at large, which is like above the board members. So apparently I really connected with the people in that room because not only did I get a board member position, I became one of the two directors at large.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's actually really cool. So, like, it's the two. I remember my first year was like
I
the
didn't
guy
even know
and the
what
girl.
that position was.
That's
before
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
That's good to put on college resumes.
Yeah.
I was.
Sure hope so.
You were talking about how you're going to do the Lone Stars Honors College, right?
Yeah.
First
I
2
plan to.
years. I think I might do that as well. Because I was
think it would be
researching stuff, and it sounds good. Because I have to I can get my first 4 years, I can get my major in anything. So I'm probably going to get it. I'm leaning towards nutrition and business, and then after that I'll go to my naturopathic college. But, so, I want to do it as inexpensive as possible, because medical school is pretty expensive.
nice.
But, do you know what you want to major in yet?
No idea.
No idea.
No. Probably something business related because anything that I do is going to tie into business.
Yeah, that
So,
is for sure.
Yeah. I'll start there and figure out the rest.
That's smart, yeah. Because, I mean, even with what I'm doing, I'm going to need a business background to be able to open and run my own practice. So,
yeah.
It's anything you do is business. So that's smart. You can get like an MBA or you can even get a CPA. I mean, you're good with numbers. You're remembering all these dates.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't like numbers. I just like I like the social aspect of business.
The social aspects of numbers?
Yeah, like I can market to people. This week I've been basically like networking on Twitter to promote this podcast. And
I've seen that. That's awesome.
thank you. I've had fun with it because like I just figured out like what keywords other podcasters are looking for to promote their own. And we're all just kind of like trying to build each other up, and like I had people sliding into my DMs saying like we can trade a rate and review on Apple Podcasts. So like, you know, we listen to each other's and then we give each other a high rating, and it just helps each other build the fan base.
Yeah.
Or like build the following, and then like we follow each other and that builds a fan base.
That's cool.
Yeah, so if there's one thing that I've learned this week, it's that empowered podcasts empower podcasts.
It took me, whenever you first told me that, I was like, I was reading it and I was like,
I texted you that. And
I was like, empowered, what? And then I finally got it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool.
The noun, or like the adjective empowered.
Yep.
The noun podcasts. The verb.
Empowered.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that. That's a cool... Did one of the people say that, or did you make that up?
There's a common phrase that I've heard before that says empowered women empower women.
Oh, okay.
And
I think my mom would like that.
Yeah, she probably would.
She actually had a really good second podcast.
Oh, she made the second episode?
She made the second episode, and it was really good. It was with one of her friends, and it was about all the different chakras. And they talked about what's good to open each one and what either makes them close and stuff. And I don't know, it was... You know how I listen to Mind Valley podcast?
Yeah.
So Mind Valley podcast is a lot... They're oriented like on personal growth and stuff like that. And so this reminded me of that. And I really enjoyed it.
That's cool.
It was cool.
Since we last spoke, I attended the first meditation meeting that your mom held.
Yeah.
Or not the first one that she held, but the first one that I attended.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I'm glad I went.
Uh-huh.
To be honest, I was expecting more for my first time.
Uh-huh.
The way it went for me basically is that my mind wandered a lot, the way it often does. And then towards the end, I started trying a little bit harder to listen to the voice of God.
Uh-huh.
Just to hear what, he was trying to tell me in that time of silence. And like I shared with you afterwards, I just heard, like, you are unique and use those special talents.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And meditation, I have seen a lot of cool stuff when I've done it, but I do not...
It's not every time.
No, it's not. And the main time I've seen it whenever I was doing my Reiki certification, so I had a lot of cool, like, a lot of energy flowing through me at that time, and everybody in the room, we were all very, like, in the zone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was much easier to just kind of fall into that state. So it is, like, my mom goes to the Hindu temple to do yoga.
Oh,
and
really?
At the Hindu temple, that's, like, a lot where meditation, like, originated.
That's interesting, because you guys are Christian, and
Yeah.
she goes to another faith as...
Well, for yoga, yeah.
Okay.
So she...
Not for meditation, though.
She hasn't done meditation there, but she, like, tells them
That'd be
some of her
interesting,
meditation experiences. And they're like, oh, you can see all that stuff? Like, they haven't seen anything like that before. They were like, that's so cool. So, I think it definitely has to do with being in the right situation, right state of mind. Like, and the main time when I've seen stuff is when I'm in the Reiki class and had all the, like, really high vibrational energy, just very focused.
Yeah.
But it still is. So meditation is, when people think of it, they're not thinking as much about going and seeing a bunch of stuff. That's more like lucid dreaming. But it's more just a way to kind of get in touch with yourself, I think, and really take time. I really want to do that Shavasana, or the Vipassana, the 10-day thing.
What
Did I tell you about that?
No.
So it's 10 days of meditation. You wake up at like 4:30 in the morning, and you meditate for like 11 hours through the day. And they feed you for free, and they give you a place to stay for free. But for 10 days, all you do is meditate. You're not allowed to talk to anybody, and you're not allowed to write anything down.
No way.
And my mom's going to do that in a couple weeks.
I would probably go insane.
A lot of people feel like they are. But a lot of people are, it's a very, like, you just get so in touch with yourself.
Yeah.
That it's so healing, and I don't know. I think it'd be a cool experience. Maybe if a group of, like, the meditation group goes and does something like that.
It would be interesting to try.
I'm very interested to try that. But yeah.
All right, so Justin and I just had a trip to Brooklyn Bagels.
We had to take a break in the middle of the podcast to, get some food.
Yeah, and we're back.
So, we were talking about earlier how Prime Day was recently. It was recently Prime Day, I should say.
Yeah.
And Matt has some stuff he'd like to confess.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have ever been shopping on Prime Day, but it is exciting. All of Amazon's products are on sale. And, I don't really need all the products that they sell, but I decided to get some of them anyways. And I ended up spending, and I'll tell you why in a second, I ended up spending $435 on Amazon on the second day of Prime Day. So, what I bought was 3 Fire TV sticks, like 4 Echoes and 4 Echo Shows, which is like the ones with the screens.
Ah.
Yeah. Those look cool.
Those are pretty cool. So you're just going to place them all over your house?
Yeah, exactly. Everywhere I am, I can have my questions answered.
Or your conversations listened to.
Yeah. So I'm going to be covering up the cameras and mics on those if I decide to keep one of them. But essentially what my plan is, I'm going to flip them. So if I sell everything that I bought for the price that it is now listed, I will make a profit of $200.
That's pretty good.
Yes, thank you. I think so too.
So why would people choose to buy from you rather than from Amazon?
Well, have you heard of Facebook Marketplace?
Yes.
Those things go like that.
Okay.
I put up some children's bicycles that I had laying around in my house. In less than 24 hours, I got 2 responses.
That's pretty
for
good.
Used children's bicycles. So for a popular tech product, where people can just like see it, want it, and get it within a few hours, I was thinking that maybe they'd be willing to pay the same price or lower just to get it sooner.
Just to get it quicker?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I can see that. That's...
And hopefully I'll flip as much profit as I think I will.
As you plan to?
Yeah.
And you can go bigger next year if it... You might...
I think this is going to be a drug for me.
A drug, yeah?
Yeah. Once I see... like, if it is successful and I do make money from it, I won't be able to stop.
It is fun to sell things. It is very enjoyable. I've done that with a car.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How much did you...
I made $1,000 profit.
Nice. What kind of car?
It was a 1994 Toyota Corolla. And I got it for $400. I sold it for $1,400. And it was just, I made a profit at about $800 because I had to spend some money. I had to put a new alternator in. But that's it. So, but it was, and I got to drive the car around a little bit for fun.
Oh, nice.
And so, I mean, similar idea, but it was kind of a luck of the draw type thing, because that's not something you come across, like a car that cheap.
Yeah.
That only has like one problem with it. So it was very, it was a blessing, I should say.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so that's interesting. Your Prime Day situation.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes next week.
Yeah?
I'll let you know.
Have you put anything on the market yet?
No, it hasn't arrived yet because I chose no rush shipping because I believe in non-employee cruelty, and those Amazon employees have been through enough.
But isn't it free 2-day shipping?
Yeah, but I don't want them to rush just like to get something to my house.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need it that badly.
That's interesting.
Yeah, at least not soon. I do need those items.
Eventually.
Yeah.
When no rush shipping, when does that come in?
Usually it comes in just a few days later.
Okay.
Yeah, like, it's not next day delivery, it's not like...
Same day delivery.
Yeah. It's just, you know, if you buy a sweater in July and you don't really care when it comes,
Yeah.
you select no rush shipping and you get like an extra $1 off your purchase or something.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so did you get them for even cheaper?
I think so. I think I get like $1 credit for Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And my next plan is to start selling the Funko Pop bobbleheads, because The Office is releasing their Funko Pop is releasing the Office collection, and when they released Friends a while back, they started selling for a lot more, and they started making like secondary bobbleheads. So like they would dress up a character like the way that they were dressed in one episode. So like instead of the regular Phoebe, it would be like Phoebe dressed up as Supergirl or Superwoman.
Yeah.
And so now the secondary ones still sell for like $10, but original Phoebe sells for like almost 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So I was thinking if I held on to the Office figures for long enough, that those figures would sell for as much as the Friends ones.
That's smart thinking.
Thank you.
It's fun to turn around stuff like that.
Yeah.
Make a profit on it.
So while we're here doing this little after show, I have a question for you from Brian.
Okay.
Brian Arguello, you know him, you love him.
Yes.
And his question is,
My favorite cheese.
they didn't hear that, so I'm going to disconnect the AirPods real quick.
Okay. Will they be able to hear it?
Yeah.
I have a question. What's your favorite cheese?
Okay. Brian, favorite cheese. Would you like me to answer this first?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, favorite cheese, that's a hard thing to answer. Because, I mean, cheese is such a broad subject. And, like, you can have cheese on pretty much anything. And I guess it depends on what you're in the mood for. Because, say I'm eating cheese and crackers.
Mm-hmm.
I probably want maybe a sharp cheddar to go with that. And nice fine glass of wine, you know?
Mm.
Or on like a hamburger, I want pepper jack cheese. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think cream cheese is also really good. You know, you put that on bagels.
Mm.
So you can have like totally different cheeses for every meal. So, favorite cheese. I mean, probably the cheese I eat the most because it's the healthiest. I like to eat things that are fermented. So, and have more probiotics.
Okay.
And so, Gouda cheese. I don't know if it's fermented. It's something, there's something about Gouda cheese. There's some health benefit, particularly to Gouda cheese that's different from other cheeses. That makes it, I think it's some type of fermentation, or it's like how sourdough bread is better than the other breads. So like if I were to have bread and cheese, I would do sourdough bread with Gouda cheese on it. So that would be my answer, is all cheeses are great, except I eat Gouda more for its health benefits.
Wow.
Yes.
Do you know my answer?
What's your answer?
String cheese.
String cheese, of course. Can't go wrong. Well, is it a specific kind of string cheese?
No.
No, just any string cheese.
Yeah.
That's great. That's good to hear.
Thank you, Brian, for that question.
Thank you very much.
You guys can send your question on Twitter. Tweet us at the Mountains Pod, or you can send us a voicemail on Anchor.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay, see you guys next week.
Bye.
So you want to get into the closing segments?
I'm totally down.
All right. So, Let's start with endorsements. Curse-free Gary V. I've told you about Gary V. Online social media entrepreneur mogul, really connects with this generation of young entrepreneurs. Uses social media to arguably his biggest advantage, and he has been questioned by like interviewers about his colorful language, and he says that he is now. You know that I'm very conservative when it comes to use of language.
Yes.
It's like one of the only conservative things about me, other than my faith,
Yeah.
and maybe a few other things. But I totally respect him for the way that he defended himself. He said, I'm willing to deal with the ramifications of being my complete unadulterated self. So he's not going to like stop cursing anytime soon. But if you want to consume his content, or you want to share it with your kids, and that's the only reason that you've been hesitant, go check out his channel on YouTube, Curse Free Gary V. All of his content, all of his inspiration and positivity, just ready to be served up to your kids.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was seeing him, because I remember you sent me his, like, a few videos of him,
Mm-hmm.
and how he posts, I don't know, he posts like 100 things a day,
Yeah,
right?
pieces of content a day.
100 pieces, and that's crazy. And so I'm scrolling through my feed on Instagram. It's like, Gary V, Gary V, Gary V. And I'm like, oh, when did this happen? Oh, 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. He's
Well,
like,
and what's cool is that it's not always on Instagram. Like, he doesn't spam you with his stuff on one platform. It's also in written form on his website. It's in podcasts. It's on Twitter, on YouTube. So that's why he says, like, across all platforms, you should be posting 100 pieces of content a day.
that's smart.
Yeah.
I really like that. That's very cool.
I'm not even sure that I probably interact with 100 pieces of content a day, but I definitely don't put out that many.
No, yeah, yeah, me neither. I don't even Snapchat 100 people a day. I've been on my phone more since I've been laid up, but
Yeah.
it's still, even then, I don't think I do. That's crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah. And quality pieces of content, not just spamming.
Yeah,
That's very difficult to do.
that's got to be really difficult. He's probably spending it's a good way to advertise for sure.
Mm-hmm. And he says the reason for doing that is because if you could go back in time and you could buy up the pieces of land that are worth like a lot of money per acre, I don't know how much land costs, but if you could go back and buy,
Like Louisiana Purchase, was it 17 cents per acre or something like that?
yeah, the answer is yes, you would go back and buy it because you know how valuable it is today. So now that you're given the opportunity to make your mark on social media, and you know that the internet is the next frontier, you should be posting 100 pieces of content a day to buy up that land while it's still cheap.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's smart. I like that. That's very smart. Well, my endorsement. I was thinking about it as we podcasting, and one of the things you said about the cursing, kind of with Gary V, it reminded me of Vishen Lakhiani, which is the founder of Mind Valley,
Okay.
he has a Mind Valley podcast. He wrote the book, bestseller, Code of the Extraordinary Mind. And that book has changed my life a lot. It was a very good book. And one of his big things is, like Gary Vee, he wanted to be true to himself.
Mm-hmm.
And Vishen, he says, be unfuckwithable.
Wow.
Which is, like, just don't worry about what everybody else thinks. You be you. And that's like one of his kind of things is just be that way, which is which I thought was kind of out there, and I feel like more people are kind of not taking words as harshly as they used to, which is good. I don't cuss like much either, like you.
Yeah.
But it's
Other than just now.
Other than just now, yes.
No, I've heard that before, but I've never heard it in like an empowering way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I really liked that. He's very good. But, and then our next segment.
What's our next segment? What are you listening to?
What are you listening to?
I am listening to Kamala Harris's Spotify playlist. She's a Democratic presidential runner, presidential candidate. That's the word. And essentially, she has a podcast on Spotify, and it is straight fire. It has 60s soul music. It has Beyonce. It has Anderson .Paak and several other artists that I am not fully exposed to, but just listening to it in the car, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is it, Chief."
That's pretty cool.
So that is Kamala's summer playlist on Spotify.
That's awesome. Well, I'm listening to lately, AJR. Have you heard of them before?
I have not.
So they sing the songs like "Weak." Have you heard of that song? I'm weak. What's wrong with that? No. They sing. They're becoming more and more popular, but they came out with a new album called Neo Theater, and it's really good. I really like them. They have a lot of interesting. Whenever they sing, all their songs have like a really deep. I'm about to sneeze again. Oh man, that was a banger. No,
pungent.
But they'll have really good meanings behind them, and they also all their beats are really good. So it's very good. I need to get a
Say the
tissue.
name of it again.
AJR Neo Theater.
I stuttered like intensely just now.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh shoot! Is that
blood?
It might be. I sneezed hard.
Okay, nobody panic. Remain freaking calm.
You want to hand me that roll of paper towels?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Well,
Oh,
man, blood, sweat, and tears have gone into this podcast. Let me take my mic off so I'm not blowing in everybody's ear.
oh. Don't get blood on my AirPods, Justin.
Man, that must have been a hard sneeze. I don't know how that happened. I can't remember the last time I had a bloody nose.
I used to get them very often as a kid.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've heard that I used to get them where, for no reason, and they were like, well, I'm gonna sound funny now. Well, I used to get them for no reason. I'll put my mic in. And I think that was from, I did some research, and whenever you have mineral deficiency, like you're deficient in some kind of, mineral.
Justin now has a paper towel hanging out of his nose.
Yes, I do. And whenever you are deficient in like some minerals, like you're drinking too much water but not replacing like the salts in your body,
Yeah.
then you'll get bloody noses just randomly. And that's what was happening. So I drink a lot of water, especially because I was running a lot at the time. So I was chugging water so much. So it was just like flushing all the salts out of my body, all the minerals, and I wasn't replacing it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started adding just a few granules of Himalayan salt into all my water.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they stopped. So,
Wow.
pretty cool. That's coming out hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
We still have another closing segment to get to.
Another closing segment. Let's go for it. Okay.
Let me know if you need to take a break, because you look
I'm
busy.
good. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm on point.
All right. Proud Christian moments. I finally have the second one that I've been missing since episode 2. So I'm bringing you 2 of them today. Number 1. Number 1. Doing my Twitter networking this week, I have seen a lot of positivity, a lot of empowered podcasts, empowering podcasts. And one great example of that is the Never a Straight Answer podcast. Gave us a shout out on Twitter. It was the first time we've ever been tagged before, and our following doubled in one day.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
That's
12
awesome.
To 24.
12 to 24.
Making moves over here.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I told him thank you, and we appreciate it. And so go check him out. He, as far as I know, he does conspiracies and other random topics. And if that interests you, go over to the Never a Straight Answer podcast. Shout out to them.
That's pretty cool. NASA.
Yeah, NASA.
That's awesome.
And my second one, my church went on a mystery trip. This
Mystery
week.
trip.
Yeah, so they load us all in different cars, and we don't know where we're going, and it was fun. So
That sounds a little bit sketchy.
yeah,
If it wasn't a church, like that would sound like, okay, everybody get in these cars. We're just gonna blindfold you, duct tape you to the chairs. Just don't talk.
yeah, that'd be the extreme version of what we did. But it was cool. It was fun. We went to Pump It Up, and then why am I drawing a blank? What did we do next?
You went to like the beach or something, right? Or, like,
Yeah, we
somewhere
went to
in
Galveston.
Galveston.
And then in between those two things, we went to... Goodness gracious, I'm going to look at my camera roll.
I remember seeing some stuff on your story.
Oh yeah, yes. Of course, we went to the NASA Space Museum in Houston
Yes, yeah, that's what I saw.
on the day of the 50th anniversary of the moon landing.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, it was busy there.
Ah, I bet.
That was fun. We went to... I didn't really go into the museum part of it. I went to the different buildings where the highlight of that was seeing basically like an overhead observatory view of the labs where they train astronauts. I guess that's what they're doing in there. I'm not super trained to see.
You're not 100% sure.
Yeah, but basically, I'll just show you some pictures I took in there. So that's their office spaces.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they're testing out like
Different things.
yeah, and
That'd be weird. You're just down there working and like people are walking above you like, oh, look at him.
yeah, and yeah, it was weird because we couldn't talk either because it's a functioning government building.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there were people like doing work, doing tests, running simulations, and we couldn't talk. And so my proud Christian moment is the interns, Sabrina, Kyle, and Andrew. They know who they are. They're doing a great job of just connecting with the kids this summer and listening to the youths and joking around with them. They're just really like, they're being good influences with us today, this week, this summer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'd say my proud Christian moment was, it was earlier this week. My grandparents and my dad came over for, my grandparents are catching up on all the Marvel movies, as I've told you.
Oh yeah?
And so we had just watched Infinity War. So, and after that, we got into some deep conversation about God and Jesus in the Bible. And we were talking about how... So, have you ever heard of the Book of Thomas?
I should know that that's a book, but I did not.
It's not in the Bible. It was taken out of the Bible by the Catholic Church in, I forget which century, but because they wanted... There was parts of it that kind of made it you more related to other faiths, like not just Christianity. Okay. And so they were, or Catholicism particularly. And since the Catholics wanted to run they kind of ran the church because they were the government as well. So they wanted money, they wanted power. And so they took some of the bits and pieces out, like the whole Book of Thomas they took out. And so I thought that we had a very interesting conversation about that. And my mom had actually brought that up to me, the Book of Thomas. And it's interesting just the way, I don't know, just the way that things had changed in the Bible even. Mm-hmm. And so I haven't even read the Bible all the way through yet.
I haven't either.
Yeah. So my grandmother, she's probably read it over 100 times, like over 200 times. She's read it a lot.
Wow.
My dad's read it a lot. I mean, my dad, he's in college, he majored in theology. And so he was going to be a pastor. He ended up not doing that. And then my grandfather, he's read it 3 times front to back. He's newer in faith. But we just had a really good conversation about all of it, and I really enjoyed it. So that was my proud Christian moment, just hanging out, talking deeply about it, and I'd add in like different, because I don't know much. I'm still young. They've been around the Christian faith like a lot longer than me, and so I'm just kind of trying to bring new information, I guess, to the scene to them. And so we had a good conversation about it and what they thought about it, and so I really enjoyed that.
Very cool.
But yeah.
All right, shall we wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up.
Okay, Justin, where they... as they say on the basement yard, where can they find you?
Where can they find me? They can find me on Instagram at justin.wiley. Justin, I don't even know my Instagram. I think it's justinwiley. I don't even know.
Okay, well that's going to change.
I need to change that. Yeah. Next podcast episode, you'll know what my Instagram is. And then you can find me on Facebook. And next podcast, you'll know what my Facebook is. And then you can find me in the Woodlands. If you can find me, you can
represent.
Find me.
Okay, well, you can follow us on Twitter at TheMountainsPod, and you can also support the show by donating to us on Anchor if you want to see us get some real mics.
Yeah, some real mics. You might be able to hear us better. Our nose might not start bleeding in the middle of it either. Yeah. That'd be good.
And please, send us some questions on Twitter and through voicemail on Anchor, and we will answer it on the show.
That sounds good to me. That sounds fun.
Once we really get people listening, we're gonna have a format for this show. That
sounds good. I like format.
Yeah.
Some stability here.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for listening.
See you next week.